Welcome to Homeschooling Down South. I'm Kayla.
And I'm Kat. We're two Southern homeschooling mamas sharing real talk, resources, and inspiration for life and learning in the Southeast.
Each week, we'll chat with inspiring voices in the homeschool community, highlight must-see nature spots and field trip gems, and share resources from across the region.
Whether you're new to homeschooling or a seasoned pro, pull up a chair and join us as we celebrate the joy, freedom, and community of homeschooling down south. Welcome back, y'all. We're so excited today. We are talking about one of the programs here in Northwest Georgia. We have Peggy Killham here. She is the homeschool mover and shaker in Whitfield and Murray counties in Northwest Georgia. Welcome, Peggy.
Good morning. Thank you.
Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
So you do so many things, and I'm sure we're going to talk about a lot of them. But what we want to start with is tell us a little bit about you and your homeschooling journey. How did you become a homeschooler?
So I am a mom to 5. We have a blended family, and our oldest son was in public school, and he had severe ADHD. So we had to go the route of medicine, and I just really didn't like the fact that my kindergartner was on a lot of medicine just to sit there. So we pulled him. My husband was homeschooled his whole life, so he's familiar with that. So I homeschooled him until about middle school. And my kids have always either been in a combination of public school or homeschool based on just the seasons of our life. Right now, I just homeschool our youngest, who has special needs. He has been homeschooled since first grade, and he is going to 8th grade in the fall.
So that is, how many years total then have you been on this homeschooling journey?
Total, I'm coming up on my 15th year.
Wow. That's amazing.
Thank you.
So what does the rhythm of your homeschool look like? Share it with us a little bit about whether it's like a homeschool day or a homeschool week or even a homeschool month. What does that rhythm look like for y'all?
Okay. Our week is pretty busy. He has a lot of therapies that we have to attend in various places. So we school around that. So we school a lot of car school. We do a lot of car school, a lot of audiobooks in the car. And that's pretty much how we get all of our history and read alouds done, is through audiobooks. When we are home, we are really structured because that is what works for him. So I am a sit down at the table, we get it done, and then we're done for the rest of the day. We tried early on, because I have boys, so we tried early on, break, like, you go play, come back in 10 minutes and we'll do math. But they never come back.
Or they pitch a fit when it's time to come back.
So that didn't really work for us. So we sit down, I disconnect my phone, I turn on the do not disturb, and we just power through our day. And then we're usually done fairly quickly. And then the rest of the day is just for whatever we need. I'm very type A, unfortunately. So I have to keep structure. He needs structure because we have to structure our homeschool day around appointments, around therapies, and around other things. So pretty much Friday is like our fun day where we go and do things with friends.
So I know that you have your hand in several different things, but what was your first thing? Like what is the OG Peggy thing that you started?
Okay. I used to run when my kids were little. I ran a pretty large play group, so that's how I started running things. And then when I decided to homeschool our 19-year-old for 3rd grade, I was like, okay, we need to get out of the house. I need community. He needs community. So I started my first co-op, and that was at the recreation center in Dalton. So it grew very quickly, very fast. And I ran that for about 1.5 years. And then we moved to Chatsworth, and I stepped down from running that. And then we had our youngest son, and I started the next one, the one I'm currently running 5 years ago.
Okay, so let's talk about it. Adventures
Okay.
Homeschool Co-op.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about the structure of this co-op.
Okay. We are a traditional parent-led co-op, meaning parents come, they're involved in every aspect of the day. They're required to teach within 1 calendar year of joining, but we try to facilitate what their gifts are versus what they're comfortable with and what I can give them to do. I love curriculum. I love open and go curriculum, use curriculum as a spine and say, find these fun hands-on things to do. So that's kind of how our day is structured. We have pretty much been capped at the level of what we're at right now, which we are at 48 families and
Wow.
105 kids.
Peggy, that's huge.
That's amazing.
I had maintain a pretty long wait list
Yeah.
because we're also very cheap and affordable. That was the number one thing for me starting a co-op is I needed it to be something that I myself could afford. Being a one-income family, a large family at that, I needed it to be affordable. I couldn't pay fees on top of class fees on top of book supplies. So we have a set fee. Ours is $60 a family for the semester.
That's very affordable.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
awesome.
So and everything just goes right back into supplies. So we're basically just buying supplies to use in the class. So that was just that reasoning is I also don't want to travel an hour to Chattanooga. And while they have amazing and wonderful programs there, we spend enough time in the car already. So I
Yeah.
couldn't fathom driving an hour for an hour class and then driving back.
Now,
And there's a big need for it. So that's why I started it.
absolutely. Absolutely. I love that you were responsive to that need and you thought about what your family needs and then just kind of grew that out for the community. Now, it's a full day. Is that right? It runs morning.
It's 10 to 2.
Okay.
Okay.
So that our first 15 minutes, we have restructured over the years, and we're finally, I think, at a good spot to where it runs very smoothly. So our first 15 minutes, we do morning time where we sing birthdays because the kids love that. We
That's
do a
cute.
character trait. Yeah, so they learn about a character trait for the week that goes along with a Bible verse because we are in a church. So while we are not labeled as a Christian homeschool, all of our members are Christians. So, and we meet in a Baptist church. So, we obviously want to encourage people with that regard to have character traits that show biblical things. So, we do a character trait. We say the Pledge of Allegiance. We have some families that don't participate, but I myself have a son in the Army actively serving, and we are a military family and a first responder family. So, we pledge allegiance every Monday to the flag.
That's
And
awesome.
then we end in prayer. Sometimes the kids pray. Sometimes a kid
Sweet.
will raise their hand to pray for the day. Sometimes it'll be a mom. Sometimes it'll be our campus pastor. And then we go to class. We have classes that the kids get to choose based on their ages. We've moved away from ages and now we're kind of going more towards like grades because we have some kids that are advanced and can read in kindergarten. So they're allowed to choose a reading class. And then we have some kids that aren't quite there yet. So they would not choose a reading class. They would choose an enrichment class. So we're about 75% enrichment to about 25 academic.
What are some of the classes that you offer in both of those categories?
Well, they change every time based on what the kids want, what they enjoyed, what worked, what didn't. So we offer things like dance, Lego, stop motion, art. We always have an art option. We always have a literature-based class in every grade age. I taught Percy Jackson this year to middle
So
schoolers.
fun. I love those books.
So we did that. We have exploring nature with children for the little kids. Drama is big in our co-op. We do a yearbook. We put a yearbook out every year. We've done weapons as history. That was very well
That's
attended
cool.
by the
Very
older kids.
cool.
We've done mock trial. We always have a STEM class. Forensic science was really big for the high schoolers this year.
So fun.
We did 2 years of that. So, and we just pretty much, we offer classes from nursery all the way to high school. So we have babies to 17-year-old teenagers.
And you
That's
said
awesome.
that the topics of these classes, they're chosen by the kids. How are you getting their input?
So I send out a parent survey. I come up with classes I think that we either haven't seen yet or would work very well for the type of teachers that we have. We have a lot of great moms, but some moms are not confident in their ability to teach a classroom. So in that case, we find classes that are very easy, open-ended for them. And then we do send out an interest survey. We let the kids have input to a certain extent because none of the kids want to do stuff that has homework, but
Right.
the older kids are gonna have to do that. Yeah. And then we just say, "That class went really well this semester. Would you be interested in doing it again?" Or we have classes because our rooms are capped at the number of kids we can have into a class. And so most of our classes are capped at 10 kids. And a lot of times when I open up registration, I will have wait list for classes, especially the popular ones that do have caps, like drama is capped, karate that we offer is capped. Cooking is always capped because our
Mhm.
kitchen is smaller, and 10 kids don't need to be in a kitchen that really could only fit 6.
Right.
So stuff like that, we cap, and if it was really popular, then when we're sitting down with my board members and I say, "Hey, these are the classes that went really well. These are the classes that weren't very well, didn't go very well, that weren't well attended or were the last ones chosen because they didn't have another option." So we may drop that. And I also talk to my moms and say, "Hey, what did it look like for you in there? Was it too much busyness? Was it too much chaos when they're making slime? So maybe let's not make slime next time." Or maybe pre-make all the ingredients for slime and not spend 30 minutes making the slime in a 45-minute class.
Listening to you, Peggy, I'm really moved by the fact that you have one been bold enough to just bring your values to this co-op and say this is how it's going to be run, and participate in it or don't. That's so bold. And then also to be so thoughtful about how you get input, but also stay really practical at the same time. Because I think sometimes when you're leading a group, especially a group of homeschool families where there's a whole abundance of reasons why someone might homeschool, you could get all kinds of opinions, like on the whole
Mhm.
Mhm.
spectrum, but that you're really giving people an opportunity to share opinions within what's pragmatic for the co-op and still aligned with your values. I think that's really cool, Peggy. And I think that's hard to do in today's climate where everybody wants to be mad all the time. And I'm just really inspired by you right now.
Thank you. It's been a lot of work. My first 2 years of running this co-op, I'm a people pleaser by nature, and it's really hard for me to be aggressive as I need to be. I've had to look at it in the last 2 years as even though I don't get paid, this is a business for me.
Yeah.
I put a lot of time and effort, time away from my kids, time away from my husband. My house is never clean. So I have to look at it as a business first. And so it's been really hard for me to do that. It's been a lot of prayer, a lot of, I just can't do this because one part of me, when I have moms not show up, has been the hardest for me personally because the commitment level to me, like I'm 110% when I start
Yeah.
something, I'm going to give it all of my attention because I'm pulling attention away from my family. So I need to make sure that my attention is well placed and I'm putting energy into something that is good for me and good for my family. So it's been really hard, but the last 2 years I've had an amazing assistant director in my friend Candace. So she is the strong to my weak. So a lot of times I'm just like, "Oh, it's okay. It's all right." And she's like, "No, it's not. Like, you signed this agreement that you were
Yep.
coming, you were gonna do this, you were going to be here." And so she holds tight to those arrangements and those handbook rules that we have set for our co-op. And a lot of times I'm just like, "I understand. It's okay. It's alright. I'll just take over your class." And it's been a hard balance for me, but I think the last 2 years, we've changed the ways that we have run our co-op, so every mom has a job. Like, every mom that or dad, we have a couple of dads that come, we have a grandma. So everybody at that co-op has a job, and it has taken a lot off of my plate, which is what I needed,
What are
because
some of those jobs?
everybody has to be on a committee. We have committees like field day. We run field day this past May, we had about 115 kids attend field day.
So cool.
Yeah, so that's always big for us. So we have a committee that runs field day because I used to run it by myself. with a few moms helping. I just show up and I sit down and I enjoy field day. So we have field day, we have awards day committee that handles our awards day. We do special events. We put on a historical figure fair in the fall where the kids pick a figure in history, either dead or alive, and they do a report. We do like a living wax museum thing, so that is fun.
That's cool.
We run a spelling bee. We do a geography fair in the spring, and we have a lot of outside co-op kids participate. They pick a country, they do a report, and they do samples of a food native to that country that they have to prepare. So
That's
we
very
we do
cool.
that. We have an entrepreneur fair that the kids participate in. It has to be 85% done by the kids. We had kids make $600 in the spring off
Wow.
of that. So we have moms that are over that. When we have new families come to shadow, we have a welcome committee that the moms sign up for. So their job is to get assigned a prospective mom and they take that mom on a tour. They answer questions. They go over like what our co-op looks like and if they would be a good fit. Their kids sit in a class while the mom gets a tour, and then that committee mom reports back to our board about if they think they would be a good fit for our co-op, because we do have to be choosy about who we allow in, and it's mostly different things. Family size is a big one when we're looking at, we're just honestly growing so big that we can't grow too big
Mhm.
because we're outgrowing our location.
Yeah. So, just so that I have it in my brain correctly. So, let's
Mhm.
say a family joins and the parent feels like they are not designed to teach other people's children. Do
Right.
they join one of those other committees, or is it that at some point they will have to teach?
So that can look different for different moms. If we have a mom that is just really introverted, but she's amazing with babies, we offer a nursery for the moms that are teaching that have a baby. So she could sit in there with the babies during stuff. We always give them a block, which in the fall we're moving to 3 1 hour classes. So they will get a 1 hour break where they're not expected to do anything. If they're not teaching a class, they are either floating, as in if a family is out because of sickness, then we look at that mom who is on the floater list and we say, hey, can you go be a second person in this room? Or after lunch, we have cleaning because we use the gym and the fellowship hall because we're so big, we have to spread out. So both of those areas have to be cleaned and turned over quickly for classes so they could be assigned a cleaning role.
Wow,
That's
Peggy,
so
you've thought of
cool.
everything.
Seriously, I was just thinking like, man, this is a well-oiled
Yes,
machine.
Thank
it
you.
is.
I try to be top A,
That's
and
awesome.
it's just we had last year a lot of moms that are like, "I don't wanna step on toes," or, "I don't know what to do," and I have found in other instances too, it's just better to say, instead of, "Can you do this?" or, "How about this?" I just say, "I need you to do this," and they do it, and they're happy about it because everybody there has a role.
Yeah.
We recently added preschool directors onto our board, so I'm completely hands off for the 6 and unders.
So you have this enrichment, this academic leg of
Mhm.
Adventures Homeschool, but you also have a field trip leg.
Yes.
Tell me how that came about. I mean, did it all start at the same time or did that come later? And was it pretty cohesive with the 2 legs, or is the field trip leg kinda have its own vibe?
So the field trip leg is completely separate. We have over 400 people in that group. So this one came about because I needed numbers for certain field trips we would go, or we had
Mhm.
families that weren't in our co-op for a season, whether it be a baby or they just wanted to take a break, but they're like, we still want to join you for field trips. So I'm like, okay, so let's just do this field trip group, put it out there, and have people join that aren't a part of our co op. And plus, our co op is private for security reasons. Our Facebook group, which we've moved away from Facebook for our co op, we use the Band app now, and you have to have an invite to that. We're just dealing with locations and kids' faces and stuff like
Sure.
that.
Absolutely.
So
Yeah.
we keep it private. You have to answer questions, and to be in the field trip group, you have to be invited by somebody in that group. Like, it's not really searchable on Facebook. But that's just, there's moms that may not be able to join or have the energy or the season of their life to be in a co-op. And so I don't want that to stop somebody from having the community that they need when homeschooling, especially those that are just starting out. So I just like to plan things.
I
So do
love
you
that.
Places, so I'm like, "Hey, let's go," but I need 40 people to join me.
Right. So many field trips
Yeah.
require a minimum head count. And oftentimes that minimum is even within a certain age limit. And so
Yeah.
Mhm.
just trying to do that out of the co-op could mean that some field trips are off the table. And you said you have a wait list too for the
Yes.
co-op. So this offers people a way to maybe get a
Mhm.
little taste if they're
Yeah,
not.
and because our co-op is word of mouth, or I do advertise when we have openings in the field trip group. So that's pretty much where I only advertise for our co-op. I don't like telling people, "I'm so sorry, we don't have room for you," but we don't have room for you. We really don't have room for you.
But come on field trips.
Yes, and I'm like, "You're welcome," like, we do splash pads in the summer. I do private science classes at Dalton State for middle school and high school kids,
That's
so
awesome.
we've done that. Um, we took probably my biggest field trip I've done was the UTC Space Center last fall. I took 60 families, and that I have to pay ahead for those. So that's $1,000 for the program, regardless of how many people you bring. One of them is capped at 37 older kids. So I could only bring 37 older kids. So I'm like, I need a bunch of littler kids, like smaller kids.
Yeah.
So I had to open that up to CS Thea, which is the Chattanooga Homeschool Association, just to meet some of those numbers. But it was so well done and well attended, and everybody loved it that we're doing it again in the fall.
That's
Very
so
cool.
fun.
I think sometimes people don't realize like how much it takes to put on one of these kinds of field trips and how much organizing it is. And I'm just
Yeah,
imagining you're doing that on top of organizing the co-op and that like
yeah.
what a blessing you're giving to your community.
Thank you.
But do you have people, much like how your co-op operates, where moms are coming in and signing up to do things, do you have people on the field trip leg that will help you plan these, or even say like, hey, I'm planning these things, but if someone else wants to plan these several field trips, go forth and conquer?
Sometimes. Most of them are my moms that are dedicated at co-op that will help me do the other side. Most of them don't like to handle money. They
Yeah.
don't like to be the money person. So everything is ran through our Venmo for our co-op. I have 2 treasurers on our board for co-op that help me keep up with all of that. So I usually handle the money aspect of it. And I've tried to step back, but again, I'm very type-based. I'm like, "Here, I made you a list of everybody that's here if you wanna check them off." I do this year, I have made myself step back a lot. I needed to have stepped back some because on top of all that, the Dalton Parks and Recreation, starting that, I was also teaching science classes on the side for kids. We had one science class where 67 kids dissected starfish.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that was a lot. I don't think I'll do that again, but it was fun. Maybe just cap it at 30 because
There you go.
67 kids with 34 starfish is a lot.
But that's
Wow.
so cool, though, that there's that much interest in our little community to
Yes.
do things like that, because I think so often, we talk about it all the time, the socialization question comes up, and this is an audio medium, so most people can't see me rolling my eyes, but, I mean, you look at that, like, that is something we did not know about. My kids are not that age yet, and so, like, that you had 67 kids doing that is incredible.
Yeah, there's definitely a need. The homeschool community and just the surrounding counties of Whitfield and Murray, even some in Gordon and Catoosa, has exploded in the last few years to, I think it's at 125% it has.
Wow.
Exploded just in the state of Georgia. And it's really good because Georgia doesn't have a lot of restrictions.
Mhm.
Because when I first started homeschooling, we had to physically turn in attendance sheets to the Board of Education every month. Like every month, I had to walk up there and hand it in to them.
Oof.
And I was like, I don't like that.
Was that
No.
here in Georgia or somewhere
Yes,
else?
it was here. Yeah,
Oh.
we used to have to turn in attendance sheets and stuff, and they've kinda done away with that. So I help a lot of families that are like, "Oh, I'm trying to withdraw my public school kid, but they want, you know, to know about what curriculum." I said, "You don't have to tell them a curriculum. You don't have to do any of that. All you have to do is say, 'Here's my declaration of intent. Can I please withdraw my child?'" Like,
Yep.
and I just wanna be that voice for those families because I was there years ago doing it myself because my husband was homeschooled differently. So he was homeschooled where his mom handed him his books and he pretty much did it himself. And then he went off with his friend who was homeschooled and they went into the woods for hours and hours and hours. And I'm like, that's great. But like, I can't do that. So I do try to make sure that there is affordable stuff. Like when we did that science class, I charged $5 a kid. I know. I'm a glutton for punishment.
Where's your assistant right now? I wanna hear what she has
I
to
know.
say.
I keep telling myself, like, I'll charge more and maybe I can make like $2 off of each kid. But then I look at like other classes and I'm just like, I would love to do that, but I can't afford $100 for a
Right.
class.
Well, like that speaks to your heart for these kids
Yeah.
that you don't want them to miss out on an experience
Mhm.
because it was unaffordable for their family. And I
Yeah.
think that's beautiful. We're giving you a little bit of a hard time of like, Peggy,
I
that's
give myself a hard time because I'm sitting there, like, creating layers of the earth and Play-Doh and making 50 individual bags of Play-Doh of 3 different colors, and I'm like, "Girl, what are you doing?"
so I think my most pressing question is like, when do you sleep? Do you
Right.
sleep?
Well, I do. I mean, I do a lot, like, I do a lot, but I've had to steel myself and, like, have real conversations with myself. Abby Halberstadt from M is for Mama, she hits me every single time I listen to one of her podcasts, and it's all about, like, giving energy and making sure your energy is into what is good
Yeah.
and true and good for your family. So that's why I have stepped back at co-op. That's why we have a cleaning schedule for the moms. That's why we have committee moms. Like, that's why I let my assistant director do things. So it has really just, when you find community and you find people that are willing to go on the journey with you, then that is what I like to see. That's who I'm going to connect myself with. That's
Yeah.
one of the reasons why I started everything I did, because I needed community. My son needed community. All of my kids needed it. And I needed to be around moms that get it, that
And
say, "Yes, we homeschool too." "No, we counted, yep, we read Charlotte's Web, and that's all we did today." And I'm like, "Oh, me too, but ours was in the car."
I love that, Peggy. That's awesome.
So you touched on the Dalton Parks and Rec stuff, and I'm kind of
Yeah.
hoping that after it gets up and running, maybe later, maybe even in the spring, we can come back and talk to you more about that in depth. But
Okay.
can you tell us a little bit about what's going on with that?
Okay, so the Dalton Parks and Rec had put out a post asking, "What kind of things do you wanna see?" Because during the day, other than, like, the gym and stuff, they have all these rooms. They have a complete computer lab. They have all of these things where people are just not coming, and that was where I held my first co-op was at the Matt Gaston Community Center, and they were welcoming. They loved us there, but we outgrew it. We essentially took over the entire community center on a Wednesday. So they put that out. And then my friend Beth, her brother in law actually worked for Dalton Parks and Rec. So he was like, "Can you set this up?" And Beth's like, "Well, I can't take this on, but Peggy is the person to talk to." And I'm like, "Sure. What's another unpaid job? I'll do it." Like, what's one more thing? So I met with them fall. And so we started it. I got a bunch of moms that I knew that I could count on, that could be there, that would be excited about it. And then we kind of just stalled out because Dalton Parks and Rec was kind of confused about how to pay these moms because it is a paid position. It's 80/20. So I'm pushing that really heavily. Like, hey, you're going to get paid. It's not a volunteer thing. And so I met with them, and then it got handed over to a new program director who I'm working with now, and he's amazing. He's like, "Just tell me what to do, and I will do it." So we have a meeting Monday, and I have a bunch of homeschooled moms. But right now, the majority of people that are ready to teach are retired teachers or teachers that have left the classroom that are excited about teaching. So it's going to be from Monday through Friday, 10 to 2. And
Wow.
it's whatever they wanna teach that has a need. So they're allowed to set their times, set their day, set their price. I just ask that it be reasonably priced. And then we'll just go from there. So I'm excited about it. I'm hoping it can translate into a paying job for me.
Yeah.
So, but I'm just like, I have a little bit of control over it. So I really would like for my son to do archery. And our archery day is free, would be Friday. So I'm like, we can move archery to Friday. So I can be a little selfish and say we can sign up on Friday. So it's
That is
just
one of the benefits of leading something is
yes,
that
I
you
was like, and
can.
I told him ahead of time, like, I'm gonna be a little selfish in this calendar because I'm not gonna be able to be there on Mondays, obviously, because I run co-op. So it's just an opportunity for more homeschoolers to get out and to do things because right now I'm the only traditional parent-led co-op in our area. We have other co-ops, but they're more like Christian academies,
Mhm.
and we have a classical conversations in Dalton. But other than that, there's not really anything else.
So what are some of your goals, your big dreams for Adventures Homeschool? I mean, where do you see this co-op in 5 years?
So, my dream eventually in 5 years, I would like to have a building that is just co-op, but it is co-op would be stretched over multiple days. So, similar to what they're doing at Dalton Parks and Rec, but we would do it at our building. We would have music classes. I would love to start band. My older boys were in marching band in high school, and I was a band mom for years, so I enjoyed that, and I think music is extremely important to kids. So we do offer recorder karate at our co-op, which I love. The teachers hate. I love recorder karate. I think it's hilarious.
What is that
Yes, tell
even?
us about that.
I have
Recorder
images in
karate.
my head.
It's so much fun. So I found it a few years ago, and so they learn, like, hot cross buns is the first one, and
Of
if
course.
you master it, no squeaks, all this stuff, you earn a belt, which a belt is just like a little colored string that you hang onto the end of your recorder. So it physically says you have
So
mastered
cool.
these. So they're belts like karate belts, but they go on your recorder for learning songs, and each song is a different color that you master as you go up.
That is not at
It gets
all what
harder.
I was picturing.
No.
I was picturing them, like,
With
playing
their
while karateing.
One of the moms that joined our co-op, she is a classically trained flutist. I think that's how you say it. So she is going to teach beginning music theory to our kids
Oh,
in the
wow.
fall. And I was like, "We can do recorder karate," and some of the kids loved it. And she's like, "No. If I can tie the recorders to a string and, like, nunchucks, that's all they're gonna do." And I was like, "No,
Uh-huh.
they love it. They love it." She's like, "No, it's terrible."
That is
That's
what I was
hysterical.
picturing.
Yeah, but it's so much fun. So, I mean, in 5 years, my youngest will be looking towards graduation. So, I'm not really sure what that looks like for us and our family. I would love to homeschool him all the way through high school, but I've never done that. My kids have always attended public high school, but as of right now, in the state that we are in and the season of our life and how we are, he will homeschool through high school unless something drastically changes in our public school system. There was reasons why I pulled him out of the school system. He wasn't safe. They weren't meeting his medical needs and stuff. So I don't like to go into that too much because it can be, I think I still hold a little bit of anger about it. So
That's fair.
Fair.
yeah, it's hard. When people ask me my reasons why I homeschool, I'm like, it's just best for him.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
what's best for him. It's what's best for our family.
Yeah.
Because there's been seasons of life where we have spent multiple weeks in the hospital.
Wow.
So we just school around that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I would love to school year round. He has gotten in tune to where he likes to keep the public school schedule because
Yeah.
why am I in school if my brothers are out?
Right.
Mhm.
And he's like, "Where's my winter break?" I was like, "You don't get a winter break. It's February." Like, "We're gonna keep going." So, and if he had his way in 5 years, if you ask him where he will be in 5 years, he said he would like to take over running co-op for me.
Wow.
Family
told him
business.
I was like, "No, you don't." I love it, and it is a great reward, and I have made so many great friends, and I know that that is where God has placed me, is in this co-op, but it has come with challenges,
Yeah, for
like,
sure.
so many
For sure.
challenges I did not even see, and it has changed the way I look at things, especially in the world of homeschooling. Because to me, when I grew up, we had a homeschool family that lived near us, and, for lack of a better word, they were weird,
Yeah.
and I don't
Yeah,
like to use that word because 'cause
right.
I'm like, "We're homeschoolers." But and then it's still hard for me to embrace all of the aspects of homeschooling, like the unschooling aspect. It is completely 180 of what I am, so it's hard for me to be like, "Well, that's nice, like, explain how you do that," and so I'm pretty sure I've had some people look confused at me, and I'm like, "No, we don't do that. No, we sit down at the table and we take breaks, but those are breaks like we're eating lunch, and then we'll watch like a science video or something
Yeah.
while we're eating lunch." So I'm trying to be wild and free, Kat. I'm trying to be wild and free. Like, I got kicked out of our wild and free group because I was like, "What do you mean we gotta hike every week?" I was like, "I don't
Uh,
like to hike, and you're making me do it every week?"
I
every
love
week.
it. I love it so much. I feel you, Peggy.
I'm
I don't think I love Wild and Free, and I love Charlotte Mason. Like, I love the philosophy of Charlotte Mason, but it's hard to be Charlotte Mason when you don't have a Charlotte Mason kid.
Yes.
So
oh,
that's the important thing is teaching to your kid, and that has been really hard for me.
that was just such a really important, brilliant moment for
Thank you.
anybody listening who is really drawn to a style or even a
Yeah.
curriculum and they love it and they're like, "Oh,
Mhm.
this would be so good for me,
Yes.
but it's
It
not right
is
for my
not good for my
kid."
yeah, that when you sent me those questions and you asked about, like, my homeschooling win, so the and I'm probably, like, rushing ahead, I'm sorry.
It's
No,
okay.
But,
you're
like,
good.
I'm just so excited. My homeschooling win this year was we 100% completed our math book, and that has
Wow.
never happened.
Woohoo!
Like, ever like, there was tears from both of us, but we did
Wow.
it. We did all 120 lessons, and that is the first time in 5 years of homeschooling him that that has ever happened.
Okay, so I've still
And
got time. I'm only in year 3, so I still got time to get there.
yes, we have went through and that's the thing is, as a homeschool mom, you have to put blinders on because there's all these curriculums, there's all these new things, and with the explosion of homeschool, like, everybody has come out the woodwork with homeschool curriculum and homeschool things, and I just have to put blinders on because 'cause I'm like, "Nope," because we do Saxon for
Okay.
math. It's dry, it's not pretty, it's boring, it's repetitive. But it works. It is
Yep.
the only thing that works for him. I have went through 5 different curriculums. We have tried Mastery, we have tried Spiral, we have done everything, and so that's why when, like, people ask me curriculum questions, I was like, "How does your kid learn best?" Don't buy a curriculum that is going to make you have to sit down and read a bunch of books if your kid can't sit still or
Yep.
doesn't want to sit, or don't, like, buy a box curriculum for a 3-year-old.
Amen.
Like, I mean, that's a
Shout
whole nother
that from the
podcast. That's a whole
mountaintop.
nother
Yes, it is.
tangent. Like, what are you doing? Like, no. And so that has been it's been how I structure our co-op also because I would love more academic classes. I would love to teach Latin. I took 5 years of Latin in high school. I would love to teach a Latin class. The kids at co-op don't want Latin. They don't wanna do that.
Yeah.
So I'm like, "No," because it needs to be a space that they enjoy, that they wanna come to every week, that they're engaged in, and that they're excited about. So that's why I have to structure co-op that way, I structure our field trip group that way, and I structure, like, some classes at the rec that way that I'm trying to structure. Just because I think if you're not loving learning and you're not loving what you're teaching, then you're not going to give 110%.
Yeah.
And that's been a hard lesson for me to know because I have pushed through things when I should have just let it go and set it aside.
Well, normally we wrap things up with our win, but you shared your win. But I'm curious,
Okay.
what is one piece of advice, if you could only give one piece of advice to somebody wanting to start a co-op, what would that piece of advice be?
One piece. Find your community. Find moms that have your same vision. Find your village. Find like-minded moms that have the same vision as you, that want the same things out of their homeschool journey as you do. And be flexible, be willing to maybe step outside your comfort zone a little bit, because while you might be scared to do that, it might be just the push that you need and what is best for you, and best for your kid. And it's just community. You just need to be around moms that get it, that are walking the same life as you, that are facing the same challenge as you, that want the same thing for their kids. Because if you don't have a solid foundation backing you, then your co-op is not going to be successful, and your homeschool career, whatever that looks like, is not going to be successful.
Great advice. Peggy, if someone is local and they would like to check out the Adventures Homeschool group, the field trip group, how would they do that?
So the field trip group, you can search for it on Facebook. It's Adventures Homeschool Group. You can search for it on Facebook, and you'll have to answer questions that say, are you a homeschooler? And then you can be accepted. We do have rules and regulations set up. You have to attend 2 events a year. I have to physically see your face in order for you to stay in the group. It's just active. You need to be active. I make these events because people want them, so just show up to them. Myself, I'm active on Facebook, trying the TikTok thing.
Hey-o.
It's really hard. My son makes it look easy, and he won't teach me. He's like, you just do it. And I'm like, but what button do I push? He's really mean. Teenagers and young adults are mean when it comes to technology.
Okay, so where can people find you on TikTok?
So it's under Peggy Killham. So it's the same thing as my Facebook, because I'm not creative to change it. I've posted a few things, and then my Facebook is linked to my Instagram. I don't know. I like Instagram, but again, it's not my preferred method because I don't really know what I'm doing there. But that's about it. And if there's something homeschool related, I'm probably either planning it or I'm at it supporting another mom who is planning
I love it.
Thank you so much, Peggy. This conversation has been
Thank
so enlightening. And Kayla, where can the people find you?
They can find me on all the socials at Scratch Made Simple. And Kat, where can they find you?
I'm at Recreating Camp, and you can find us at Homeschooling Down South on all the socials, and you can email us at hello@homeschoolingdownsouth.com.
And we'll see y'all next week. If you enjoyed this episode, we would be so thrilled if you would go to Spotify and leave us a 5-star rating. And if you're listening on Apple Podcast, we would love a 5-star rating and review. It really helps us get the word out and make sure that all of our homeschool families know what's going on here in the Southeast. Thanks, y'all.